Hey everyone, I'm Carl Azouz. We're happy you're taking 10 minutes for CNN Student News. Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan spoke out yesterday against Boko Haram. It's a terrorist group that kidnapped more than 200 Nigerian schoolgirls on April 15th. The president says that would be the beginning of the end for the terrorists. But his country hasn't been able to rescue the girls, and Boko Haram has continued attacking and killing Nigerians. The Islamic militants say they kidnapped the girls because they were getting a Western education. The terrorists say that's a sin. Malala Yousafzai knows what it's like to be targeted for that reason. In 2012, she was attacked for her education efforts in Pakistan.
When I heard about girls in Nigeria being abducted, I felt very sad. And I thought that my sisters are in prison now. And I felt that as if I should speak up for them, because I felt a responsibility. I believe that we are being sent to this earth as a community, and it's our responsibility that we take care of each other.
The U.S. is planning to get involved in Nigeria, but we're not sure exactly how.
Mounting worldwide outrage at Boko Haram's vicious kidnapping of 200 schoolgirls, now leading the U.S. to offer widespread intelligence and military assistance to Nigeria.
They've accepted our help, a combination of military, law enforcement, and other agencies who are going in.
Nigeria agreed to accept U.S. help somewhat grudgingly and still has to agree to the specifics. A team of U.S. military experts, along with the FBI and others, are offering help with intelligence, communications, and planning for a possible rescue. There is already talk of U.S. commando raids.
I think that the people on the ground are going to have to determine if special forces are necessary.
But the Pentagon says don't expect to see U.S. troops in action. More likely, detective work.
Every single thing is based on having ironclad intelligence on the target and on exactly where the girls are and how the girls are being treated. What they'll also look at is how the guards operate, what the routine is.
And that's the kind of intelligence the U.S. simply doesn't have at this point. And what if the girls have already been moved?
Each one is going to be in an individual house, probably in different buildings, maybe even in different cities, and that makes it really difficult to do a coordinated raid to go after them at exactly the same time.
Without all the raids at exactly the same time, Boko Haram would have advance warning the U.S. is coming after them. So what could the U.S. military offer? Well, perhaps drones flying overhead to begin to monitor Boko Haram's movements and communications, a first step to tracking them down. Barbara Starr, CNN, The Pentagon.
From Nigeria, we're moving across the Indian Ocean to Australia. Western Australia is a state that occupies about a third of the country. There's been a series of deadly shark attacks there in recent years, and the state government just wrapped up a 3-month program to hunt various sharks. In all, Western Australia says 172 sharks have been captured. It allows those that are more than 10 feet long to be killed, and 50 of them have been, though most are tagged and released. The government says the program has made people feel safer at the beach and contributed to scientific research about shark behavior. It may extend the program. But none of those animals caught have been great whites. They've been responsible for most of the deadly attacks on humans. Conservationists say it's mostly tiger sharks, which haven't killed people, that have been captured. We're kicking off this roll call in the Hoosier State. In case you're wondering who's your first school, it's Plainfield High, y'all. The Quakers of Plainfield, Indiana lead off today's roll. In Valley Springs, Arkansas, we're in the eye of the Tigers. Valley Springs High School, thank you for keeping an eye on us. And how about them dogs? The Bulldogs of Turlock High School are watching. They're hunkered down in Turlock, California.
See if you can ID me. I became a U.S. state in 1912, but Native Americans lived here more than 1,000 years before that. My state nickname is Land of Enchantment. My capital is Santa Fe. I'm New Mexico, and relics of my early inhabitants are all over the state.
What's fascinating is that researchers in New Mexico are using some of our latest technology to study those ancient relics. Now, when you think of archaeology, you might think of digs, ditches, dredges, but drones, they're helping people see beneath the desert surface to study ruins underneath vegetation and sandstone without touching a shovel.
With a small remote-controlled drone equipped with thermal technology, archaeologists were able to see underneath the dry New Mexican desert the remains of a 1,000-year-old village in northwestern New Mexico.
And really, of just a few days' work allowed us to do something which would have taken a decade of work if we were to actually be trying to excavate this entire area, for example.
Dr. John Kantner with the University of North Florida says he's studied the landscape south of Chaco Canyon for decades and knew there were homes from Pueblo ancestors in an area now called Blue Jay. But with thermal imagery, he and a team found even more.
We were able to find rooms. We think we may have been able to find, as I mentioned before, at least one kiva that was below the surface.
Kantner says one of the most interesting discoveries is a possible kiva, a ceremonial structure where people would meet for worship and decision-making.
That really shapes your interpretation of what their lives were like. So for me, it's very exciting that we may have actually been able to, using this technology, identify these features below the surface.
The images help guide continued research into the past, where they estimate hundreds of people once lived.
If you drive down Interstate 40 today, you have to imagine that 1,000 years ago, it actually was a pretty packed landscape.
The new technique gives archaeologists a way to piece together what remains of those who came before us.
Teachers, thank you. We appreciate your efforts to educate, inform, and inspire young people worldwide. As we wrap up Teacher Appreciation Week, Bumija says her favorite teacher is Mrs. DeGraff, who teaches French and Spanish. She's always encouraging us to do the best and right thing. Megan says Mr. Blake from St. Anne Catholic School makes language arts exciting while teaching us great life lessons. For Faith, it's Mr. Meany from Manchester Township High School. His motivation in school, sports, and life itself just makes him all around great. Dependra honors Mrs. Knechtal, who's always there to help when needed. And R. Hudson writes, Mrs. Ann is the best homeschool mom teacher in the world. That last comment dovetailed nicely into Mother's Day. It's this Sunday. Don't forget Mom. Kevin Durant didn't. He was just named the most valuable player of the National Basketball Association. He's got 4 NBA scoring titles. He's won an Olympic gold medal and the NBA Rookie of the Year award, and he hasn't forgotten the woman who helped make it all possible.
We wasn't supposed to be here. You made us believe. You kept us off the street, put clothes on our backs, food on the table. When you didn't eat, you made sure we ate. You went to sleep hungry. You sacrificed for us. You the real MVP.
Great stuff. I don't know how his brother's going to top that. I mean, talk about MV peer pressure. It was certainly something worth crying about and a tributeful way to go into Mother's Day weekend. Thanks to all of you for watching CNN Student News.